Good morning, Mark and everyone else. And here I am again subbing for Mandy. Last week we talked about how it feels to have a sub show up. And that is one of the first things we practice in yoga, just recognizing what's going on. So I come up, I sign up for this class. I was expecting to practice with Mandy this morning, and then a sub shows up. And how do I feel about that? Another thing I heard in the intro is like it's a lot of talking about partnerships and relationships. And so we all relate to each other, but maybe the most important relationship is between me and me. And that is another thing we practice in yoga, and paying attention to me. Checking in with me. How do I feel today? What do I need today? When I practice my mat practice, I try to keep it simple, because what I really want, I want to create a ritual that works. And it has to be pretty, it's like brushing my teeth. If I make it too fancy, it's like it's gonna be too complicated and I might not do it. It's better that I keep it simple. So I do it hopefully on a daily basis. So when I start my mat practice, I always start, or always, 99 out of 100 times, I start in constructive rest. Because I know even on any day, I can start my practice in constructive rest. And then I decide what to do next. So constructive rest. And also, if you have blocks, you would like to use blocks, and I have some water here. So constructive rest is getting down on your back, knees bent, feet are hip distance apart, and so are the knees. Just laying on the floor, on your back. Palms are facing up. And then do a check-in. I'm starting with the physical body. So what does my physical body feel like today? I'm checking in with my legs, my arms, my upper body. And then moving to my breath. What kind of breathing am I using today? Just notice, don't judge. Just notice. Is it short and shallow? Is it long and deep? What kind of breathing am I using? And then moving to the next stage, observing my thoughts and feelings. What kind of thoughts, what kind of stories am I creating today? I think I mentioned this last week, so I like to give myself a weather report when it comes to thoughts and feelings. Some days, some mornings, I create all these beautiful stories. There's a clear blue sky, that might be one little white cloud symbolizing the thoughts. The sun is shining, everything is fine. And other days, the sky might be completely gray. And some days there are thunder and lightning. So what kind of weather report, what kind of story are you creating today in your mind? Notice, don't judge. And then going back to the breath. And maybe if you wanted to, you could start noticing what part of your body is moving when you are breathing. And then you have a choice. You can choose to encourage the body to move a certain way. So if you wanted to, you could put your hands on your belly. That's a possibility. And if you wanted to, you could on the inhale allow the belly to expand. And on the exhale, the belly could come closer to the ground. Inhale, belly is expanding into your hands. Exhale, belly is moving closer to the ground. That's one possibility. Maybe you wanted to add some counting. Maybe you breathe, you inhale for 1, 2, 3, and exhale for 1, 2, 3. Or maybe you like to pick another number. Maybe you pick 5. You could stay here, or if you wanted to, you could bring your knees in towards chest. Maybe put your hands on your knees. And start some light movement. Maybe bringing the knees apart and then together, apart and together, making big circles with your knees, opening up the hip joints. You could move in one direction, and then if you wanted to, you could move in the opposite direction. Maybe bringing the right knee into your chest and then extending the left leg long, flex both feet. And then bringing your awareness back to the breathing. If you wanted to, you could imagine 2 points, one at the crown of your head and one at the bottom of the sole of your foot. And on the inhale, extend that line. And on the exhale, maybe lifting the chest towards the knee. Inhale, extend, get lengthen. Exhale, bring chest to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chest to knee. And then maybe placing the left hand on the left hip. And then bringing that right knee up and out, eventually finding tree pose on the floor. If you have a block, you could, if you wanted to, you could place that block under the knee. That helps keep the hip bones more leveled. You could also place your hands in cactus or in goddess, arms rather. So bending the elbows at a 90 degree. At any point during practice, you could, if you wanted to, go back and check in with your physical body, your breath body, and your thoughts and feelings. From here, you could, if you wanted to, you could bring that knee up and over. Maybe the toes touch on the other side to get a little bit of support there. I like to place my hand on top of that knee to keep that knee like in place, and then turn the head the opposite way for a gentle twist. And you can stay here as long as you like or as short as you like. Eventually, you might want to come back to neutral. Maybe bending both knees, extending the right one towards the ceiling, holding on to your hamstrings. And then if you wanted to, you could straighten that left leg. That's a possibility. You could stay here, or you could do that breathing breathing exercise when you inhale to lengthen, exhale, lifting the chest towards the knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, chest to knee. You could also bring the arms out and imagine that you're doing a warrior 3 on your back. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, bringing the left knee into your chest and extending the right leg long. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, chest to knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, chest to knee. And then placing the right hand on that right hip, bring the left knee up and out, up and out, up and out. Finding tree pose on the other side. Maybe using the block under that knee helps to keep the hip bones a little bit more leveled. And then maybe place the arms in cactus. You could, if you wanted to bring awareness to your breathing, notice what part of your body is moving. Maybe the belly is expanding on the inhale and releasing towards the floor on the exhale. And then bringing that left knee over to the other side, touching the floor with the toe. Possible. Maybe for that. And then whenever you're ready, coming back to a neutral position, both knees are bent, left leg extends up towards the ceiling, maybe holding on to the hamstrings, flexing that foot. And then if you wanted to, you could extend that right knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale upper body to knee, inhale to lengthen, exhale upper body to knee. Maybe releasing the arms out, imagining warrior 3. So this is like an upside down warrior 3. And then you could bring both legs up towards the ceiling, like an upside down Dandasana. Maybe move the feet around and the hands around, open and close. Get some blood flow into the hands and feet. You could extend the legs wide, maybe cross them. If you want to mess with your brain, you do the opposite. So when the legs cross, the arms stay open, and then you do the opposite. So that usually messes with your mind, and it becomes very tricky until you've created new pathways in the brain. So if it's easy for you, come up with something that's hard, that really messes with your mind. We want to be confused at least a few times per day. All right. And then maybe it's time to give yourself a little bit of a hug. Maybe rocking from side to side like an upside down child's pose. I have very long arms, so I find it easy to hold on to my hands for a bind. Maybe you like to hold on to your knees. And then starting rocking back and forth. And maybe you can rock all the way up to a seated position. Another way to come up is to roll to one side come up on the elbows or the lower arms rather, and then come up to a seated position that way. Those are 2 ways of moving, and there are many more, of course. Okay, now place the feet as wide as the mat. That's one possibility. And then start moving the knees from side to side. The alignment that I look for is that my knee matches with the sole of my foot. That works for me. Maybe that works for you too, or you'll find another way that works better for you. So shifting the knees from side to side. And then eventually start looking behind you. Look behind. So twisting a little bit more, opening up the hips and twisting a little bit more. And then the next time you look over the shoulders, stay there. Bring your awareness back to your breathing. And notice how the inhale and the exhale moves your body. How does your body and your breath move together? In the introduction, we heard talks about partnerships. Your body and your breath are like 2 partners. Maybe you like to come down on your forearms. And then when you're ready, come back up, facing forward, and then let the knees go from side to side a few more times. Decide when you are ready to go to the left or to the side. For me, that's going to be my left. So I'm looking behind me, staying up here to start with. Bringing the awareness to your breath. Maybe you want to try to come down on your forearms. Maybe you decide that you don't like it, and then you come back up on your hands. How would I know if I like something if I don't try? I'm absolutely allowed to change my mind. I can try something and say, no, I didn't like this. I'm going to come back up. And then when you're ready, coming back up, facing forward, and we're going to move into cat-cow. To make it a little bit softer on the knees, I like to use a blanket. And then really spreading the hands. Spread the fingers as much as you can. Open up those fingers, placing the hands under your shoulders, knees are under my hips. So it's like a 90 degree everywhere. It's like a math class. And then maybe shifting the hips from side to side. I like to imagine, so we do have a little tailbone back there, right? And maybe imagine wagging your tail. Wag your tail from side to side. And then that wagging of the tail translates to movement in the spine. And we like to lubricate and keep that spine flexible. And then maybe coming to stillness. Exhale and round the back. Inhale into slight back bend. So the cat-cow movement. Noticing how your body and your breath help each other. Inhaling into a back bend. Exhale and round. And then eventually coming back to neutral. Now, if you want to, you could bring the hands closer. So think like Tadasana with your hands. And then from here, we're going to make so transfer the weight into the left arm, The right arm becomes light. Imagine how you're pulling that string on the warrior's bow all the way up towards the ceiling. Stay. And then slowly come back down. Okay, let's add on. Transfer the weight to the left side. Right side becomes light. Pull the string up, 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 up. And then exhale and thread the needle. Thread the needle and bring your head down towards the floor for another twist. And then when you're ready, inhale and bring that arm all the way back up. Exhale, back to the mat. Okay, let's try the other string all the way up. Exhale, thread the needle. Stay there. Bring the arms back to under your shoulders again. Okay, let's try table flow. I think we did that last week. So starting in table, and then gently sit back towards your heels, lengthening the arms. Inhale back up, round your back. And then exhale, release the hips, lower belly, mid belly, upper belly, and then swim forward. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift for a baby cobra. Exhale, back tabletop, and sit back towards the heels. Inhale, round and come up. Exhale, hips down, elbows go straight back, look forward. Swim. Hands under your shoulders. Inhale for baby cobra. Exhale back. Let's try it one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, release down. Swim. Hands under your shoulders. Inhale for baby cobra. Exhale back, and then stay back in child's pose. And then whenever you're ready, inhale and come back up to tabletop. Okay, we're going to move from here to down dog. And we're going to do it the tricky way. So tuck your toes to start with. Tuck those toes and just let the toes kind of warm up there a little bit. Now check the bending of the elbow. So we want the elbows to bend straight back. Push into the base of the index finger and the base of the thumb. That helps. And then just start moving back and forth. So my knees are still on the floor. Just moving back and forth, just like a baby. If you watch a baby moving, and this is how they move. And eventually the knees come off a little bit. And the knees come off, maybe they stay off and you keep on moving back and forth, just like a baby. And eventually you figured out that you can bring those hips all the way up towards the ceiling and what we call down dog. And just stay there for a moment. This could be a great place to do that check-in again. What does my physical body feel like? What does my breath body feel like? What kind of breathing am I using right now? What stories am I creating in my mind? You can stay here, or if you wanted to, you could inhale one leg up, exhale it down. Inhale the other one up, exhale down. Inhale one leg up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Last time. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down, and just stay there. Now, bend the knees and start walking your hands to feet, removing the blanket as you go. My knees are very bent, super bent. Maybe placing the hands on top of your feet, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and then walk up your hands by your legs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Knees, thank you. Upper legs, belly, maybe back, maybe arms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe the face. Coming up to standing. We're going to walk forward. And if you want to, you could like tuck the thumb and then, or bring the thumb down and then hug the thumb. And then maybe bringing the other hand around, placing your hands by your navel. And if you wanted to, you could repeat this mantra in your mind. I'm always calm at the center of my being. I'm always calm at the center of my being. And you could repeat that mantra in your mind if you wanted to as you walk forward. Heel, sole, toe. I'm always calm in the center of my being. I'm always calm in the center of my being. And then release. We're going to do the beginning of a sun A. So I like to start my standing practice with my feet hip distance apart. That gives me a little bit more balance. You choose if this works for you, or if you rather bring the feet together with big toes to touch and heels slightly apart. So those are two options, either standing hip distance apart, or big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. There are other options too, but those are two. So you choose. All right, inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way back up again. Exhale down the midline to Anjali Mudra. Let's try that two more times. Same thing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. Last time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline, and just stay there, holding your own in between your hands and compassion. I'm always calm at the center of my being. Okay, let's continue. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. And this time, exhale, place the hands on the mat and step back to plank pose. And plank pose is just like Tadasana, but we are like 90 degrees different. Okay, you can always release the knees down if that is helpful to you. And just stay here for a while, building strength. Shoulders are wide, neck is long. Lengthening from or find that long line from your heels to the crown of your head. And then eventually release the knees down. And then gently bend the elbows, just a little bit, making sure you're bending them straight back. And then push into the base of the index finger, base of the thumb. Use your fingertips to pull yourself forward and come all the way down. Inhale for baby cobra, and then lift the hands off the floor. What kind of breathing am I using? What stories am I creating in my mind? And whenever you're ready, letting the elbows go out wide and come all the way down, maybe letting the forehead touch the floor. If you'd like, you could bend your knees and then let the feet go from side to side. Another gentle twist. And then coming back to neutral, place the hands under your shoulders, or maybe bring them a little bit further back. Use the fingertips, pull yourself forward to lengthen the spine, and then coming up to higher cobra. Move through tabletop, tuck the toes, hips goes back and up, back and up, back and up, finding a down dog again. Now we're going to release the knees down, finding tabletop again. This time, bring the right foot back, open up that back calf. And then lift that leg off the floor. Lift the opposite arm off the floor for a balancing pose. Inhale up, exhale, knee and elbow together. Inhale, exhale, knee and elbow together. One more time. And then placing the left hand back, and then start rotating that knee around. And then eventually placing that foot outside the hand. Here, this can be handy to have some blocks here. And then keep on rotating around, opening that hip even more. Maybe straightening the knee. And then eventually letting that right knee move forward. I like to have my my shoulder, my upper arm kind of pushing that knee out and the knee pushes back, creating a partnership between the arm and the knee, looking straight forward. And then eventually finding tabletop again. Left foot goes back, open up that calf muscle a different way. Lift the foot off the floor, lift the opposite hand off the floor. Inhale, open up. Exhale, bring the knee and elbow together. Inhale, open up. Exhale, knee and elbow together. And then placing the hand back on the floor. That left knee goes up and around. Placing it outside that left hand, maybe using blocks here. And then creating more circles, water element. Going one way, maybe switch up and go the other way. Moving back and forth, maybe flexing the foot. Finding helpful ways of moving. And then eventually letting that left knee travel forward, supporting the arm and the leg are supporting each other. Looking forward, widening the shoulders. And then eventually back to tabletop. Okay, tuck the toes, bring the hands a little bit forward, bend the elbows slightly right back, and then start moving back and forth, back and forth. Eventually the knees come off the floor, moving back and forth. Notice how the hips are moving, and then push those hips back and up, back and up, back and up into down dog. Pushing into the base of the index finger, base of the thumb. The fingers are spread. This time we're going to walk up towards the hands. So the feet are walking to the hands, bending my knees as much as I need. And then staying here in a forward fold, maybe holding on to opposite elbows. Maybe leaning forward a little bit. And then lifting the toe off the floor. Release the arms, bend the knees, and then come up to standing. Okay. One more sun A version. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, place the hands, step back to plank pose. Stay there for a moment. Shoulders move in front, come all the way down. Bring the hands a little bit further back. Use the fingertips. Inhale to lengthen the spine and finding your version of up dog or high cobra or medium cobra. Engage the core, lift the hips, and then finding down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline and just stay there, holding your own heart in between your hands with love and compassion. I'm always calm at the center of my being. And release. Okay, let's do another standing sequence. You're going to step back and we're going to do warrior 1 and warrior 2. So big toes to touch and heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to chair pose, Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left side of the body. The right side becomes lighter. The right heel comes off the floor. Take a big step back, finding the earth behind you, releasing the heel down. Warrior 1 foundation. And then building pose from the earth up. So I have my feet, and then I'm slowly bringing up my upper body. The pelvic halves are facing forward, bringing up my shoulders, and finding an alignment that works for me today. Tomorrow is going to be different. Maybe I want to bring up my hands. Maybe I want to bring them out. Maybe I want to put them in my sides and my waist. And then from here, imagine that bow and arrow, the bow. So I'm taking the bow and I'm bringing the string back, coming up, open up the pelvic halves, change the back foot into warrior 2. Maybe adding some movement here with the arms, going from peaceful warrior, extended side angle. Maybe I want to stay back here for a while. Or maybe I prefer to stay forward. Or maybe I like to be in warrior 2. Eventually meeting in warrior 2. Now turn that front foot towards the side, so I'm facing the long side of my mat. Placing the hands in your back pockets. Bend the knees slightly and then fold forward, Eventually releasing the hands down towards the floor. Maybe, and then bend one knee and bend the other. Opening up the hips a different way. Come to stillness. Come up on your fingertips for like a halfway up. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Place your hands back on your hips, bend the knees, keep a neutral spine, and come all the way back up. And then heel toe your feet together. And we're going to try the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to chair pose, Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right leg. Left heel comes off the floor. Take a big step back. Finding the earth behind you with your toes first and then the heel. Building warrior 1 from the ground up. Maybe adding arms. And then moving from warrior 1 to warrior 2. Imagine that string you're pulling back, opening up the hips. Maybe I need to widen my feet. Maybe you need to. You can stay here, or if you wanted to, you could move the arms. You can add on reverse warrior, extended side angle, or anything in between. Eventually coming back to a regular warrior 2. Bring that front foot forward, facing the long side. This time, maybe place your hands in your back pockets, or maybe you want to clasp the hands together. Bend the knees, fold forward. Release the hands down to the earth. Inhale for a flat back. Exhale, fold. Place the hands on your hips. Bend the knees, come up with the neutral spine all the way up. And then heel toe the feet together. Coming back to the top of the mat. Okay, let's do one balancing pose before we go back down. So let's do 3 pose. Big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. And then transferring the weight, I'm going to mirror you. Transfer the weight into your left side. The left side is steady, which allows the right side to be light. Light heel comes off the floor. And then finding your version of tree pose. The only place you want to avoid is to put the foot on the knee because you're pushing on the knee joint, and it's not designed to do that. So either below or above, or using the floor. And then adding arms that work for you. What kind of arms would you like to have in your tree pose today? And then coming back to neutral. And transferring the weight into the other side. Your right side, the left side becomes light. The left heel comes off the floor, finding your version of tree pose. It might be the same or it might be different. The foot is pushing in towards the leg is pushing back, creating a functioning partnership. If I fall, the floor is right there. I just use the floor to help me, and then I try again. Maybe I try the same version, or maybe I try a completely different one. This is my practice. I'm allowed to try things and fail and try again. And eventually succeed. And then finding your way back to earth with both feet securely placed on earth. All right, we're gonna move back down. Okay. Maybe now big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, place the hands and just step back to a tabletop. And then bring the feet to one side and then sit behind. And then bring the feet forward. Let's do a quick Dandasana. So feet, my legs are straight. I'm placing the hands next to my hips, pushing into the floor. Sometimes it can be useful to have blocks here. And from here, we're just going to do a hip walk. So I'm going to use my hips and walk back. Lift one hip and walk back. Opening the hips, another one, and then walk forward. Lifting one hip or one leg, and so a hip walk. Maybe bending that knee a little bit when I'm walking back, moving towards Janu Sirsasana. We might do that another time. Okay, now we're going to come back down on our backs. So place the feet on the floor, using my hands to really lengthen the spine, and slowly roll down, lengthening the spine, coming all the way down. Okay, bend your knees. Often a good alignment is that you can barely touch the back of your heels. We're going to do bridge pose. Now, use your elbows. Bend your arms. Use your elbows to push into the floor. Push into the floor and allow the chest to rise and open up. Walk the shoulder blades towards each other. So the top of my spine is not on the floor right now. So this is a good start for a back bend. Push, maybe walk the elbows a little bit closer to your body. Push the elbows into the floor, and then lift the hips off for bridge pose. Release the hip back down. Bring the knees into your chest and then the feet all the way up. Bend the knees into your chest, and then we're going to make a gentle twist here. So let the knees go to one side and the gaze to the opposite, and then reverse. The knees are moving in one way and the head is moving the opposite way. Maybe letting the arms go out wide. And then eventually let the knees rest on one side, gaze to the opposite. And stay there a few breaths. Engage the core, bring the legs back up, stay there for a moment, maybe straighten the legs. And then try the other side. Slowly start from side to side a few times. And then eventually letting the knees go to the left, gaze goes to the right. We're almost at Shavasana. So maybe this is a time to give yourself a hug. So like an upside down happy baby. Upside down child's pose. Maybe shifting from one side to side. And if there's anything else you would like to do before Shavasana, this is a good time. Maybe you want to do a happy baby, maybe you want to straighten your legs, whatever you need to be comfortable in Shavasana. And then eventually releasing your legs out, arms come to your sides of your body, finding Shavasana. You have just put in a lot of work and now it's your time to receive. We give and we receive. Notice how the body with every exhale becomes heavier, almost like melting out, spreading out, getting closer to earth. If you'd like, you could bring your awareness to your belly. Maybe noticing a warm spot there. And allowing that warmth to spread out through the body. Down through the hips, upper legs, knees, lower legs, feet, toes, and soles. From the lower belly, up through navel, solar plexus, heart, throat, out through the shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, hands, fingers, and the palm of your hands. And from your heart, up through the throat, neck, back of your head, crown of your head, forehead, tip of the nose, chin, and jaw. And gently rock your head from side to side, a slow awakening. And then just notice your feet. And then wiggle the toes. Notice your hands. Wiggle the fingers. And then allow the breath to deepen. Big inhale, big exhale. And then gently bring one knee into your chest and then the other. Give yourself a hug. And then gently move to one side and stay there in fetal position a few moments. Maybe ask yourself, what did I learn during practice? And then using one hand to push yourself up to a seated position. If you'd like, you can bring your hands into Anjali Mudra in front of your heart, holding your own heart in between your hands with love and compassion. I'm always calm in the center of my being. And gently bow your head in gratitude for this practice, thousands of years old. Thank your past, present, and future teachers, and all the people that are joining you on this journey. Open your eyes, look at the floor in front of you, raise your gaze, and thank you for joining me today. Namaste.